In the 1880s, Philadelphia department store giant John Wanamaker said that he knew that half of his budget was wasted. He just didn't know which half. This has actually become a common saying in the business world or the advertising world, that half of your marketing money is wasted, but you just don't know which half. In reality, it's more like 1% of your marketing budget isn't wasted. If you put out a TV commercial to 1 million viewers, you might get 1% of them to actually buy a product from you. Now, the internet overcomes this problem because you can actually determine what it is that your customers, where they're coming from, who's buying from you, and so forth. But this only happens if you're using analytics. I'm going to talk today about website analytics, what it is, how to use it, and by doing that, how you can actually improve the results of your website. So what is web analytics? Well, you need to get to know who your users are. It's basically answering the questions of who, what, where, and when of your website so that you can take that information and apply it to your marketing efforts. First question that you want to ask is, how are people finding your site? And this is actually a very important part, and I'm going to talk a little bit about this here. But by using different types of analytic tools, you can get these various kinds of reports in here: referral reports, keyword reports, natural search reports, return visitors, and so forth. But you need to understand that all traffic coming to your website is not the same. There are bots out there, which are basically the things that like Google sends out in order to find your website in the first place. Is that good traffic? Well, sure, it's okay, but it's not giving you anything that you really want. There's hackers out there trying to break into your website. That's not good traffic at all. There are bandwidth pirates, and this is people that basically say you have an image out there, and rather than them taking and stealing your image, which would be bad enough, they actually just point to your image. So every time somebody comes to their website, it's actually showing up as a hit on your website because they're looking at the image from your website. None of that is really what you want, which is actual human visitors. The big thing that I like to tell people is that you shouldn't get hung up on search engine optimization, or SEO. And the reason is that people see these kind of charts here where it says Google's driving 75% of the traffic. Well, what that is really representing is that Google is driving 75% of the search traffic. If you take a look at where the total traffic comes from, you'll see that on most websites, the actual search traffic is somewhere between 10 and 20%. So Google is driving 75% of that, say 15% of your total traffic. The other traffic is coming either from direct, people know about the site in the first place. People don't typically go to Google first in order to go to eBay or to Amazon. They just go to eBay or Amazon. Or referring sites. This direct traffic, as it turns out, is actually frequently got a bunch of referring sites in there as well. And unfortunately, Google, who has got the primary analytics package out there, doesn't measure where all that's coming from. And I'll talk a little bit about that here in a minute. The other reason why you don't want to get too hung up on search engine optimization is that Google changes its algorithm all the time. Every couple months they change how they determine who gets to be #1 on their search results. And it's only one source of traffic. Most of your traffic comes from other sources. These slides are actually from a different website, and the reason that I pulled them in here is that you can see here, here's Amazon. They get about 19% of their visits from search traffic. Big company like Amazon's getting 19% of their search traffic from Google. Little companies, why do you care? Facebook gets about 6% of their visits from search engines. eBay gets about 10% of their visits from search engines. That means 90% of eBay's traffic is coming from someplace other than search engines. So don't get too hung up on search engine optimization. There are other ways that people come to your website, namely word of mouth. And today's modern word of mouth is electronic. People are getting there because of things that people post on Facebook, Twitter, blogs.